and welcome back to the Financially Simple Experience. The time has come for us to do something different, something we've never done before on the show. You say, Justin, man, 300 plus episodes, what have you never done before? Well, I've done a lot of teaching. We've had a lot of dynamic guests on the show over the last 4 years, but we've never shown you, physically allowed you to look at what it is that we do. What it is that we do with business owners whenever we strive to teach them how you can double your net worth every 3 to 5 years. I was just meeting with a business owner last night, and his net worth has doubled over an 18-month period of time. You say, Justin, there's no way. Absolutely. It went from $1.1 million to $2.23 million in less than 18 months, right at 18 months' time. It is possible, friends. Now, I got to tell you, not everybody can do that. It is a lot of hard work. And you say, Justin, how in the world? It brings in financial concepts. It brings in great tax planning from tax advisors, a lot of great insurance planning from risk management advisors. But the heart of what we need as business owners is the ability to grow the value of our companies. And so for the next few episodes, I want to actually walk you through an assessment that we do with clients regularly. So let's qualify the assessment. First, you have to be a business owner. Hands down, that's who we work with. We work with small business owners. Typically, our clients have less than about $25 million of revenue, all the way down to just getting started, depending on what they're dealing with. We have a lot of seasoned advisors who can help in that area. But we work with business owners. We work in the service industry. I have a lot of my friends who work in manufacturing or they work in retail. That's not where we work. We work in the service industry. A vast majority of our clients are entrepreneurial doctors, dentists, chiropractors, veterinarians, optometrists, endodontists, all of these various entrepreneurial doctors. In other words, they're not working as an employee at a hospital. They actually have their own business. So I would say about half of the clients we work with in our capacities are in that area. The other half are mom and pops like me and you, perhaps, that own a service business. Maybe they own an auto repair company, or they're ditch diggers, or they're pool contractors, or we have one client who changes light bulbs on cell phone towers. But they work in a service industry where somebody's having to perform a service as opposed to a retail storefront or a manufacturing facility. The average person we work with has been at it a while. They're not novice. They're not just coming out with some harebrained idea of a new business. They've actually weathered the storms. They're in the trenches. We're kind of jaded. We're a little weary. We're very keen. We try to be astute or wise. That's who we love to work with. So I want to share with you what we do. So I'm going to share my screen with you for those of you who are joining via Audible or joining via iHeartRadio, or maybe it's iTunes or Stitcher or Spotify. I'm going to do my best to articulate in my voice what I'm seeing with my eyes, but I'm telling you, you want to watch this particular series on YouTube. So you're going to be able to go to YouTube, and we'll make sure there's a link in the show notes for each of our podcast listeners, so you can click on the link and go straight over to YouTube. But ultimately, find your way to the Financially Simple channel on YouTube, and I'd love for you to look at what we do. Friends, this can help you. So let me give you the backstory, and then we're going to kind of lay out the overview of what we're going to cover over the next few weeks. I found myself as the average financial person back in about 2014. You see, the average financial person goes to individuals and begs them to trust them with their money so they can manage money at some sort of a percentage rate. And it's changed over the years I've been in business. I've been in business for almost 20 years. It's amazing how much my industry has changed. I'm sure you can say the same about yours. But the average person goes and they find somebody and they say, hey, let me show you how to reach your goals. And candidly, the average financial person out there has put themselves in a position where if a prospect can fog a mirror, they're going to work with them. I want to work with the people that I like. I want to build a company that can create drastic impact. And as I began learning and studying, I realized that I was missing something in my business. In my own business, I was missing something. I didn't have what it took to break away from the pack. I was going to be that average financial person. Now, fast forward many, many, many years, and here it is, 2021. We just received, for the fourth time in a row, the top 100 advisor recognition from Investopedia. Out of 350,000 advisors, I have been awarded, yet again, a top 100 most influential advisor. Friends, that could have never happened but for this process I'm going to walk us through. So without further ado, let me enter in the meta narrative that we're going to look at over the next period of episodes. When an individual goes to try to improve planning, improve their business, many times we business owners focus on profitability. And there's nothing wrong with that. You've heard me mention this for years. Hey, you have to be profitable. But if all you focus on is profitability, you lose sellability, you lose value. And up to 80% of your business's value is intrinsic in nature. And we've dealt with that term ad nauseum over the 300 plus episodes. 80% of your value of your business could be intrinsic in nature. Don't believe me? Here's a challenge for you. Go out and look at the stock price of a publicly traded company and do the dividend rates of what the book value of that company should be. And you'll see that the current valuation on that is far greater than the book value of the company, which means there's something there that is causing that company to trade at a higher stock price, than just book value. That's what we call intrinsic value. And friends, your business as a small business owner is no different than mine. We want to grow our intrinsic value. But here's where we mess up. We focus on profitability to our own detriment. There's an old saying that my father used to say all the time. He said, son, the cobbler's kid's shoes are never shod. In other words, whenever you're out, the cobbler who builds shoes is always working on somebody else's. By the time he gets to his own family, he's tired. And he doesn't do what it takes to clothe or shoe his own child. We business owners fall into the same detrimental actions. We focus on our business and serving the customers who we know, love, and trust, pouring everything we can into them to our own detriment. It's no wonder that only 4% of businesses that actually transact, now remember, 16% of the middle market actually go to sell so keep that in mind, 16% of businesses actually sell. Out of those that actually sell, 4% of business owners are actually happy that they sold their business. If 80% of our net worth is in our business, friends, we're doomed to fail unless we change the narrative. And this is where I found myself years ago. So I did something radical. I did a personal financial plan for myself. Sat across the table from a certified financial planner, my wife and I. And as I was going through that financial plan, I had this idea in my head, or this reminiscence in my head that my dad used to say. He would say, son, in order for the boat to get up on plane, in other words, in order for the boat to get out of the water where it can move across the top of the water, you have to get the water weight out of the boat. You got to lighten the load or the boat's going to struggle getting on a plane. So for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, in a seafaring environment like I grew up in, you oftentimes will see these deep sea boats or these offshore boats spewing water out of the sides of the boat. And what they're doing is they're bilging the boat. They're getting all the excess water, which may have splashed into waves or rain, or maybe there's a slight leak in the boat somewhere. They're pumping all that water out of the boat to lower the weight of the boat. Remember, water is just over 8 pounds per gallon. So it can get pretty heavy real quick if there's a substantial amount of water in a boat. So what they do is they pump all the water out of the boat, which allows the motors to get the boat on top of the waves so it rides smooth and efficient. In our own personal lives, we have to get all the water, all the junk out of our personal lives. Sure, we want to go fishing. Sure, we want to get out there and catch the big fish. Sure, we want to focus on our business. But we really can't focus on our business efficiently if we don't address the home front. So I can remember going through that financial planning process saying, and the advisor said, what do you want to accomplish? And I said, I'd like to have a net worth of $2 million before the age of 40. I remember that goal. He looked at me and he said, "You got a long ways to go." I said, "Yeah, but that's my goal." So he began working on the personal aspect. He got a lot of things set straight for me. The right investments in place, the right insurances, the right legal documents, the right tax strategies. But he wasn't equipped to help me in my business. So I knew I had to learn something different. Remember, in order to affect the future, you must disturb the present. And I happen to be in a world where education is rewarded. The more I can learn, the better income I make, the better my business is, the better I'm able to help other people, which then refer more and more clients to me, which is now perpetuated into this business now called Financially Simple, which is nationally recognized. It's amazing to think about. So I began diving into my business. Remember, I'd already started and sold 3 businesses for a profit up until this point. I wasn't a novice to business. I'd read hundreds, if not thousands, of business books over decades. But I couldn't figure out what it was going to take to grow my company. When I earned my Certified Value Growth Advisor, I learned company-specific risk must decrease in order for value to increase. Now, remember, I was already a certified financial planner, well seasoned, over a decade of experience before I started diving into this world. And again, I'd already started and sold 3 businesses for a profit. I knew business conceptually and all the textbook working. I had the knowledge. I hadn't had the time yet like I do today, but I had the knowledge. But there was a missing link. So friends, this is what we do to effectuate a doubling of the net worth every 3 to 5 years. What I'm showing you today. Now, can I guarantee that your net worth is going to double every 3 to 5 years? No, I can't. Because this is stinking hard, what I'm going to show you over these next few episodes. Someone on the team said, "Justin, aren't you concerned about showing our secret sauce? Like somebody else is going to repeat it?" Not at all. Not at all. We live in an education environment right now. There's more information available than ever before. And if somebody can do what we're doing better, man, that means they're going to help more people. So let me show you. I'm going to turn my camera on. I want to show you what we're looking at in today's world. So remember, we've already gone through a personal financial plan. That's what we start every client at. They go through personal planning first because I got to make sure the water's out of the boat. Then we dive into one of 3 different softwares. I'm going to show you one software today that I want to use as the baseline. It's a software that's used by advisors, but it's a decent software. It's a really good software, and being a matter of fact. I want to show you some of the very simple things in the software. These are like T-ball bunning things for us. I mean, it's so easy for us to do. So let me show you. For those of you who are joining us audibly right now, what I've done is I've shifted my screen to illustrate a software. And on this software, it's going to have several different things. So we're going to begin with, what are our business goals? So we named the client. This happens to be a female client whose name is Sample. You should be able to see my screen. If you're joining us on YouTube, you can see where I have Sample in there. This particular client is 50 years of age. The purpose of this, as I'm going to type this in now, is to increase wealth. Remember, a business, even though I wrote your baby's ugly, a business isn't our baby, okay? It's a tool to generate wealth. That's what a business is. It's there to create wealth for you, the owner, and for your team, and for those whom you serve. And it's there to provide income. That's what a business is for. So this particular owner, they want to exit the business in 10 years and 3 months. That's their desire. They would love, remember, they've already gone through financial planning, so they know that they need to sell this business for $2.5 million. They know that. And they have a rough estimate that the business right now is worth about $580,000. That's the rough estimate. We've already had the conversations that they're looking to sell this to a strategic buyer. For those of you who don't know what it is, I challenge you to go back and listen to How to Value a Company. I've dealt with this ad nauseum. And they realize they're going to have to work for roughly about 1 year and 6 months. So 18 months total for this particular strategic buyer. When we look at the company today, they realize the revenue of their company is roughly $1.5 million today. In order for us to reach their goals, they're going to have to be somewhere in the neighborhood of about $4 million in revenue, give or take. They realize the profit right now is $280,000. They've been investing a ton of money back into the business. But they also know that in order to get that multiple, the firepower, they're going to have an EBITDA, we're going to say profit right now, of somewhere in the neighborhood of about 860 or 850 for their particular company. That's where they're at. Currently, according to the facts that we have research capabilities to, their current business will sell roughly for a multiple of 2. Roughly. It's about 2.1 actually. But we also know that best-in-class companies right now in this environment are selling for a multiple of 8 in this particular SIC code, this business. So we've done our homework. We've done this through the financial planning process. The business owner has been working with the team to understand what's going on. When we look at their personal side, this particular individual owns 100% of the company. And even though there is roughly $280,000 of profit, they're currently only taking home, remember they're reinvesting pretty heavily, they're currently only taking home roughly about $150,000. Now, whenever they retire, way in the future, we've already done the plan to know that they're going to need somewhere in the neighborhood of $120,000 in revenue way in the future. And in order to accomplish this goal outside of the business, remember, they've gone through financial planning, they know what they need to do in financial planning, and now in order for them to reach their goals outside of the business, they're going to have just shy of $600,000 in assets outside the business. Now, currently, like so many business owners, they only have $65,000 right now. And they're expecting at some point in the future that they're going to bring in right around $25,000 a year in Social Security. Now, who knows when that's going to happen, but that's their position at this particular point. When they retire, they want to quit. So I'm going to put quit, not quiet, quit, Q-U-I-T. They want to quit. Currently, they're not in shape. Like, what? Yeah, currently they're lazy. Let's just put that lazy in there. That was the word that this particular hypothetical client said. Hey, I'm lazy, but in the future, I want to be fit. We asked them, hey, do you have an estate plan? Nope. We're in process of working with that hypothetical client in order to make this happen. Do they have a contingency plan? Nope. There's nobody on the team right now who can take over the business if something were to happen to them. And we know, according to the financial plan, that they have partially updated insurance protection. That's where this individual sits. Friends, that's not that crazy. Let me tell you. In order for them to have roughly $1.2 million, in order for them to have $120,000 in income in the future, which is a reduction. Now, that's not the ideal. That's what they're accepting right now. Now, what I want to do is I want to make sure they can continue the same level of lifestyle they have now. We're not even talking about normalization. This is just basic data that the client gave us. We're going to show them that actually what they need is roughly $320,000 of money in order for them to continue the same level of lifestyle they have in the future. Like, Justin, how'd you come up with that? Well, we've already analyzed and we know how much money they're running through the company. We know that they have a truck that's paid for by the company. This individual does. We know that they have a cell phone. We know that they have health insurance and all these various things that are being paid for by the company. So in order for us to reach our goal of roughly what they feel like $120,000 a year, we have to add taxes on that. We have to cover all the expenses they're running through the business. So we're going to need a company to sell literally for $2.5 million. It's going to have to be that, and they're going to have other assets outside the company. So whenever we go through this assessment, we start off first of all with the business attractiveness. And then we talk about exit readiness. In fact, in the next episode, we're going to dive into each of those particular areas in deep dive, but business attractiveness. And so just hypothetically speaking, right now their business is not very attractive. So we're going to just, for today's illustration, we're going to reflect that this particular business only has a 25% attractiveness value. Now, when we do the assessment, we'll find out the true score. And the owner is mentally ready to exit, but the business is not ready to exit at this point. So we're going to give them a score of 30. If I can get my computer to work with me here, score of 30. And in doing so, what the screen's showing in front of me at this particular point is 4 quadrants for those of you listening to me. In the bottom left-hand quadrant, there is an area that says low attractiveness, low readiness. To the right of that is an area that says high attractiveness, low readiness. At 12 o'clock, which would be the top left-hand side, there's an area that says high readiness, low attractiveness. And in the 3 o'clock position, 2 o'clock position, there's an area that says high attractiveness, high readiness. For those of you looking at YouTube, what we want to do is get that business up here into the area that is both highly attractive to buyers and the owner and the business is ready for exit. We want to position it so when opportunity comes, maybe there's an unsolicited offer. Maybe there is somebody who said, would you be interested in an unsolicited inquiry? I can't tell you the number of people that we're working with right now who are getting questioned. Have you ever considered selling your business? There's 6 people, 6 clients right now who are having conversations with individuals saying, are you ready to sell? Have you ever considered it? And thank goodness these 6 individuals are highly positioned. Their business is extremely attractive because we've had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years to lay the groundwork. And the owners are, some of them are ready and some of them are close to ready and some of them are not. But they are nonetheless positioning their business so when the time came, whenever the money was there, they're trying to determine now, am I ready? And out of the 6 owners, 4 of them definitively is a yes. We're ready to sell the business and do something different in life. So exit planning is good business planning. When we look at the second phase of this, we're going to talk about personal readiness and financial readiness. This is the personal aspect of every business owner. You see, so many people are ready to exit their business, especially in their 60s and 70s. That happens quite often. But the problem with that is not many people are financially ready, or they're financially ready, but they're not mentally ready to exit. So the idea, friends, is this. We want to align our readiness with availability. We want to make sure our personal finances are moving in direction lockstep with where our business is moving, so that when the time comes for perhaps an unsolicited or even a auction type of a move or a strategic move in business, we want to show that we're prepared. So in this particular situation, as we're showing today, and we'll go into a deep dive in these questions here in the next few episodes, we're showing that this individual has a low business attractiveness and a low exit readiness. They have a low personal readiness, even though they may feel weary, and even though they probably could prove, they also have a low personal financial readiness. So overall, they're scoring a 30%. We want to, through time, remember, they wanted to leave their business in 10 years. They're going to reach that age, and they said, hey, we want to be done. We enjoy the grandbaby. So we have a period of time here, over the next period of time, we want to move this business and the personal and the mentality and everything to this area to where they are now ready and able, and the business is positioned for maximum value. So when we go over here, we know that, I'm going to go back to show you on the business assessment and the goals. We know that the current profit, or EBITDA, is what I put in here, $280,000. We're going to put $280,000 in our value range. And we know, so let that update, and we know that the multiples, all right, we know that the business is bringing in roughly $280,000 of EBITDA. And we know from our research that the readiness score, is roughly 30%, which gives us a calculated multiple of roughly 3.8. And we know that the best companies out there are selling for 8 times EBITDA. We know that. We see the stats. So in this particular case, friends, with all the facts and figures, This estimated value of this company is roughly $1,064,000. Little better than what they anticipated, what they assumed, but not quite to where they need to be. Here's the magic though, is if we can focus on moving the multiple, not the revenue. See, every business owner out there wants to go out and increase more profit. You've heard me say this in the past, and many of you have questioned me, and that's great. This is what we're supposed to do. But if we go out and try to increase more profit, what we in effect do is actually devalue our company. We put more risk on the company. The company is trying to put more revenue through broken systems. When instead, if we grow the systems of the company, we align all the areas to make it where it's best in class, where we can get the highest multiple range. In this particular type of industry, this client, or this hypothetical client, they could go from a multiple of 3 to a multiple of 8 without increasing revenue. Here's where it gets crazy. So if they just moved from this base multiple of 30% or 3.8, if they just moved it up to 8%, they go from a value of $1,064,000 to an estimated value of $2,240,000. That's without increasing revenue. So now here's the secret sauce. Often you hear me saying, hey, you can double your net worth every 3 to 5 years. Here's how you do it. You work on the intangible asset of your business while simultaneously focusing on profit margin within your business. So look at the dynamic power of what happens. Let's say, as we become more efficient, in this case, EBITDA moves from $280,000 to $320,000. That's not that far of a stretch. And let's just say, through our work, we moved the multiple up from 3.25 to, let's just go an even 5. What we've done now is we've only added about $40,000 more of revenue, but the valuation increased $600,000. That's almost a 60%, that's real close to a 60% increase over where it was. So it's not hard, friends, if you focus your attention properly in growing the value of your company and aligning it with your personal readiness and your financial readiness and your business readiness. It's not hard to align those things and cover the wealth gap, which you've heard me talk about, that gap of money that you need in order for you to reach your goals. It's not hard. You can reach your goals. So I often say, we love teaching business owners how they can double their net worth every 3 to 5 years. You can. It is absolutely possible. We see it happen quite frequently. Personally, I've seen it happen in my lifetime. Hey, by the way, remember that goal I had? Age 40, $2 million? Yeah, I blew through that. Crushed that goal. How? Why? Because focusing on exit planning and value growth and aligning great financial planning, tax planning, insurance planning, legal planning, risk mitigation, dropping company specific risk, working on the intangible assets of your company, you can drastically supercharge your career, your passion, your business. You can grow it to the company that you've always aspired it to be. Here's my warning to you. If you're not careful, you're going to end up in a position that I'm going to illustrate here on the screen in front of us now. You're going to end up in a position to where you're going to sell the business at a much lower value than needed because you never really worked on your business. And candidly, you took the advice of these business books that say, hey, let's focus on profitability. And you're going to focus on that. And you're going to make a little bit more money, but you're going to spend it all back within the business. And you're going to find yourself at some point of the age 60, and you're going to realize, you know what? I need not 120 like I originally believed. I need, let's just say you cut your life down, 180,000. And you're going to say, you know what? I haven't saved very much money. I'm going to fire sell my business. And you're going to realize that when that transpires, you're going to have to do one of two things. You're going to have to delay your retirement and work much longer than you should have to. Friends, I've seen people, business owners, working into their mid-80s. You're going to have to increase your rate of return drastically in order to try to get more money, more revenue return. Or you're going to make stupid decisions to try to increase the value of your company, and you're only going to move a little ways. But look at the charts in front of me. And for those of you who can't see this, I've affected multiple different areas here, and you will realize quickly that you cannot grow a business fast enough many times without focusing on value, without focusing on succession exit planning and aligning it with your person. You're not going to be able to reach your goals of the lifestyle that you're presently living without taking a moment and assessing and saying, okay, I've got 10 years left. Let's do this. Friends, I can't tell you, this jazzes me. It jazzes me because I know there's much more for you as a business owner and for me as a business owner than what we might often believe. I know there's much more for your team and for my team than what I believe or what they believe. I know there's much more for the clients that you serve and I serve than what any of us would believe. I know that the vendors that we work with can be drastically impacted. The communities, our families can be drastically impacted if only we take a moment and disrupt our thinking, our business, our processes, our personal life. Disrupt it. Destroy it like you're fibering that muscle. Friends, this is true, comprehensive financial planning for business owners. This is. It's not about a 12% return better than whatever index you want to try to beat. It's about orchestrating your life so that you can dynamically impact not only your future, but your team's future and your family's legacy. As you can tell, I get passionate about it. I love this. So join us over the next few episodes and do me a favor, check us out on YouTube. And guys, if this is helpful, if this shines a light in your eyes, do me a favor, leave a review on the podcast. Let other business owners know about this. Share this with other business owners. Say, hey, you got to see this, dude, because I'm showing you physically with your own eyes what it's like. And guys, this is only one little scenario of the bigger picture. This just shows you the possibilities that's out there. So I'm going to leave you with this question, and I want you to dream. I want you to dream big. If you had unlimited time and unlimited money, what would you do that you're currently not doing? Think about that. Now let's go do it. Let's make it happen. The world is a blank canvas. We can start today, but it's only going to happen unless you drastically disrupt in order to affect the future. Friends, we can help. This is what we do, and we love it. It's fun. You can hear my voice. I'm jazzed about this, guys. Reach out to us. We can help you. Till next time, I realize life is hard. I get it. But man, life is good, and we're a blessed people. So let's go out and make it a great day.